I got to do the longest, girthiest sink.
You got to be the long man of the group, even though I'm the long man of the group.
I typically am.
That's fair. All right, shall we?
All right, so what's up?
Welcome to the Black Mind Games podcast.
Episode
237.
That's a big number.
That is a big number.
Actually, that is one more number than the first one I appeared on. Sorry. That
doesn't work.
That made more sense before I said it out loud. That is 201 episodes after my first appearance on episode 36.
Me and Rory are having a day. Jesus Christ.
That makes it sound like we've been hanging out together all day. This is like the first time I've talked to Allan.
No, okay.
Because I've been in my Warframe cave for like the past several weeks.
A bit of context to me. If I suddenly go very derpy and I just stop, just say, yeah, I'm done, I'm going to log off.
That's pretty standard for Allan.
I had a bit of a day where I woke up, I was like, man, I'm going to do things. And then I found out I double booked my whole day by accident.
Good job.
So do them, and then you did them both?
No, I canceled the one thing I really wanted to do because unfortunately by the time I woke up, I had realized I'd missed the first 10 minutes of it.
Oof.
So I was like,
what were you trying to do?
There was going to be a tournament on the south side at Industrial Park and Games. And I really want Star Wars Armada, so space combat.
Okay, you're right, yeah.
And I wanted to partake in it, but like by the time I got my fleet ready, got there, it would have been an hour and a half after the thing started, and I was already 10 minutes late. And I was just like, just go on without me, boys. And then I went and hung out with Chris, and I literally sat down. We went to a place, sat down for 10 minutes, and I made a comment, and I stopped. And I looked across the table at something, and I was like, "No, that's the wrong thing. That's not what we were talking about." And like they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
All right, so I think you're just having a stroke. Either that or the Alzheimer's is setting in already. Old man.
I mean, Josh is older than me, and he isn't forgetting stuff, so maybe.
Yeah, well, that's because Josh is just a giant baby. He doesn't get older; he just gets bigger. Like, look at him. He's still incapable of growing facial hair.
Never let him. I've made
this joke before. He's literally just a giant baby.
Jeez, man. Baby Josh. God damn.
I'm going out swinging today.
Jeff was.
What are we going to talk about?
Jeff was.
I don't know. This is your podcast. Shouldn't you know that? I got invited on here last minute. I've got excuses to have nothing to fucking talk about, and even I have stuff to talk about.
I beat Doom.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I didn't enjoy.
Samuel Hayden's the bastard.
I didn't enjoy.
Doom 2016.
Yes, 2016.
Specify.
I didn't enjoy Cyber Demon. It's a nice fight, but it wasn't my favorite fight. Cyber Demon, I breezed through. I hate to break it to you. I beat him in 2 tries.
Yeah, that's how most of us did it.
But the one that I struggled with, and that I hate, and that I also love is the fucking Crucible Guardians.
Yeah, that one sucked.
I love that one.
That one's... See, here's the reason about Cyber Demon. Cyber Demon was... I don't want to say better in every way, but it was challenging yet rewarding. Whereas Crucible Guard, it's like... It's what I would expect more normally of a boss, where it's like you're bashing your head against a wall, and then eventually you succeed, and you're like, yay, I succeeded. Like, it's a fun fight, but it's completely forgettable.
No, I love that fight. I like how the first one starts off with the shield. You have to maneuver around the shield. You have to constantly pay attention to how his attack patterns are. You have to watch how he's what he's doing. I love that. Cyber Demon is mostly just range, except for when he dashes forward. And it's for me, as much as, again, I love the Cyber Demon's design. I find the Crucible Guardian design just boring and appalling. That's the weakest thing about them. But I love the fact that you beat the first one and then 2 more pop up that are just half and half. I really enjoy that because it's like, for me, like, I actually now had to balance 2 things. I had to like pay attention to my environment. I had to make sure like, oh hey, he's charging with flame thing and he's charging me. I'm gonna dodge to the right. All right, shotgun. Mind you, the whole time I fought the Crucible Guardians, I literally had the double barrel shotgun out.
Yeah, because that's how you fight the Crucible Guardian.
Yeah. Well, no, actually no.
Just because the super shotgun just like feels the best out of all the weapons. But
yeah,
if I'm going to weigh in on this. First of all, I want to specify that I don't think that the bosses in Doom 2016 are bad per se. They're fine, but I find that they are weaker elements of gameplay as opposed to just sort of platforming around.
I don't disagree there.
Levels fighting like regular enemies. The mechanics of the game, especially like glory kill and all that stuff, are just like lean way more towards making fighting a huge horde of enemies way more entertaining than a single enemy, especially one that's you're going to be fighting for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all about momentum.
I feel the Cyber Demon and the Crucible Guardian and stuff like that could have been like accented by like being a little bit of a smaller health pool, but with enemies coming in to engage you into like.
No.
You don't think so?
You don't want. No. That would make it like it might complement Doom's mechanics better, but it would make the boss fights way worse because you still want to like prioritize the right things in boss fights, and boss fights that have ads in them are generally just shit. If I'm being honest.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've never particularly liked any of the bosses that you fight in like Borderlands because they necessitate having a bunch of rando enemies in there so you can get your second wins.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just kind of
fair.
necessary, but it just sort of dilutes the whole like boss experience. You know. I mean, I haven't played Borderlands 3 yet, but
I would say though the best boss in Doom or in Doom 2016 would probably be. I don't want to say Cyber Demon. I want to say the Mastermind. Then it's Cyber Demon, then Crucible Guard, and I'm not going to sit there and say that the reason why I would say Cyber Demon above Crucible Guard is because Cyber Demon's generally fun.
I get why you're saying that. I personally am. I liked Spider Mastermind. I fucking hated funding it. Because I don't like the way that it fights. I just don't like its movesets. But I love that it's like you use up I almost used up all my ammo in the first like half of that thing before it started to actually take damage, and I was just like that. And I had fully upgraded the chain cannon. I had upgraded my super shotgun. I had upgraded my heavy assault rifle, so they all had penetrating rounds. Mm-hmm. And I was like. Taking off very little. I was just like, God damn, what do I have to do to actually do damage to you? And then I found out because I don't use the BFG when I fight bosses. I refuse. It's that's an easy, but that was easy.
Yeah.
I found out that if you use the BFG, you take off a chunk of HP, and then they have low armor for a couple seconds. And I was like, why?
See,
because Doom is about resource management.
Yeah.
Or a chunk of it is about resource management.
Yeah, the reason why the reason why I used the BFG
being able to use the BFG because the BFG is a limited resource. If you save BFG throughout the level to use on the boss, then it's going to make the boss fight easier.
Oh yeah.
Same as if you manage to avoid taking hits and having full armor going into the boss fight.
Oh, I thankfully I managed to have full armor and 200 HP because I managed to set myself up so I could go back to one of the. Passageways and grab the med pack. So
see, the thing with the BFG is like the way that I always used it was I always used it like the resource. It's like, oh, I need this thing. I need these enemies in this area to go.
I need them to be gone.
Just get rid of them. So I'm going to.
They were thoughts that needed to be gone.
Yep. And every single time I used it, they would always be gone. So it's really like.
I used the BFG when I was getting just too overwhelmed. That was my problem. Yeah,
the way that some people used it was a lot like
Well,
I know some. I'm
that's
not
just sort
saying
of
that the way that Rory did it was better than or not, or the way you did it was better or not. But the way that everyone does it is their own unique way.
Well, and like, okay, so like the sort of the design philosophy that gets put into like the more recent Doom games, because they're very similar to older school like shooters, is that it is about like managing your resources. The reason you have a shitzillion weapons is because like finding the ammo for those weapons is something you actually have to look for in a lot of cases, and spending the ammo from those weapons might mean that you don't have access to it later when you really need it. So it's about sort of it's about like I said, it's about resource management as much as the action.
Yeah.
It's about smart snap decision making.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's the reason why like when I finally figured that out for that boss fight, I just kind of like I guess I'm not using the BFG because I don't like that. So I eventually I did beat him. It took me like 10 tries. I will
Simply.
well the thing is like again I beat the game. I'm now going back and getting all the collectibles. But I love the again like all 3 boss fights I really enjoyed. They are the weakest part of the game, though. I will freely admit that.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody's going to argue
But
against you.
I also didn't like how repetitive the ballerinas got towards the end. That's also like it's late game and starting to get to like you're starting to run to the end of the game and they're trying to get the game done. It kind of felt like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's fair. Can we talk about something really stupid?
Go for it.
So the internet went ablaze for 2 reasons.
Oh,
Okay, is this gonna be your porn thing again?
this is the porn thing.
Well, we have to talk about interspecies reviewers and how it's number 1. Was number 1 on my anime list.
Oh god damn it.
And then my anime list did something, and now the internet's ablaze again.
So it is a porn thing.
It very much is a porn thing.
Great.
Wonderful.
You know, I had hope that since Josh wasn't on,
There wasn't going to be dicks? No, I hate to break it to you. There's going to be dicks.
there's always dicks. Even without Josh, they are a constant. All right, shoot. Talk about this shit.
So my anime list is currently going under fire because basically they said we have to protect the sanctity of the top 10 best animes.
Because the porno's in there?
Because a literal
porn was on.
beat out all of them.
Yeah, no shit. Porn's popular. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, sorry. Well, I mean, I guess that's their prerogative, though. And, like, people are bitching about this.
Yep.
And people are bitching about it.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck
That's
up.
what I said.
Like it's porn. Like,
Okay.
like if the site wants to be sort of like, I mean, anime is sort of like treated as like lesser, I don't know, a lesser medium because it has a lot of like shitty tropes attached to it, and you can't really get away from that anymore. But like if they're like organizing a top 10 list and they want to be like because an anime list is like a pretty like heavily used resource for like figuring stuff out about an anime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like being like, yeah, we're just gonna like take the porn off of there is kind of to be expected. Like you want to act with some class if you want to be taken seriously. Yeah, sure. This means that people won't be able to look up the synopsis of this porno. Like, who the fuck does that? Who the fuck looks up the synopsis of a porno?
I don't know. People are weird, dude.
Yeah, okay, sure. But, like, okay, you're not going to expect to see Ass Masters 3 at the fucking Oscars.
If it is, yo, dude. If it is,
And you're not...
I'd be like, okay, there are questions to be asked, but if it wins an award, there's even more to be asked.
Like, if people want to go for porn, sure, that's fine. But, like, you shouldn't put it on, like, a general resource site. You know? I don't expect to hear about fucking Honey Pop at the BAFTAs. Or even the Game Awards. I mean, maybe the Game Awards. The Game Awards are kind of a fucking joke.
That has been a constant for years.
Yeah.
But it gets better.
Okay.
Because the only reason why it's number 2 is because...
Oh, it's still on. It's just number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I
The
assumed,
reason why it's at number 2 now.
I wish to point out. I assumed that like the thing was that it had been taken off because it had taken off entirely because it was porn.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Sorry, my mistake. I was
it's okay.
missing.
I thought
was just going off the cuff.
I thought the same thing, Rory. So you're not at fault.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I can't really claim that I'm a hentai expert.
Connoisseur.
Damn, you really should have saved this topic for when Josh was on.
Yeah. But no, the big thing that ended up happening was 2 YouTubers promoted it.
Okay.
And my anime list basically flipped out.
Okay, so they took it off the most popular anime of what I assume is the season.
Yeah.
Because it was promoted by some like
No.
YouTubers?
It was the most popular of all time.
Okay, sure.
It beat out Brotherhood, by the way.
Okay, whatever. I mean, Brotherhood's a bit overrated. I mean, it's good, but it's overrated. You know, I'm gonna get like fucking angry weeks coming out.
Yeah. Go for it, boys.
Full
I don't
Metal
care.
Alchemist is very good, but not the best.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree or agree on that one. I'm just going to be neutral in this factor.
I like the difference is I like making people mad, Allan.
No. It's not that I don't disagree. It's not that I like don't want to make angry weebs. It's like I don't know how I stand it because I haven't finished Brotherhood, so I can't make my full decision on that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing beats Bebop.
No, that's a fair point.
Nothing beats it. But anyway, I mean, both of those are good, kind of because they're like gateway animes.
Yeah.
Go watch
for the normies.
Go watch Bebop. Actually, I do actually want to sit down, hopefully over this summer when I get a bit of downtime. I'm gonna try and power bomb my way through the Galactic Heroes series.
Oh my god, I want to watch that, but I also don't want to watch that. You know,
I need to watch
because
it.
I've heard nothing but it's so good. It's so good. Just watch it. It's so good.
That's the thing. Is like here's the thing.
But it's also 100 episodes, and apparently it's a really rough watch. Then again, I am not averse to rough watches.
I follow someone who actually talks with Alpha Busa and like kind of like throws like running tips towards them. And so they're talking about what them and their fiance are doing, and they said they're starting the show, and then a week later they're like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" And then they came to an episode, they were like, "Why are they showing everybody being happy at the end of an episode in the after credits? What the fuck is going on? No, who's gonna die?" No, it's just like Jesus Christ, and they're like, "Go watch the show." Was when they finished it. They were like, "It's so good." I'm like, so I've already had the emotional roller coaster, so I know what I'm expecting, but at the same time,
you know what? I'll put it on the list. It's that, and I still need to finish watching Dark because I started watching that with my brother because he recommended it to me. Because he sort of knows my taste and what I look for in a show, and I do sort of like the setup of Dark, but I've not really found the time to just sit down and watch the rest of it. You know?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's good.
I watched the first 5 episodes. I tell you what, I did watch in its entirety because it's a much easier watch, and I can sort of do it while like farming in Warframe or something. I watched The Witcher.
How was it?
It's pretty good. It's not amazing.
I keep hearing so many mixed things. Okay, like here's the thing. Okay, now
Henry
here's the thing.
Cavill carries it.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill carries it hard.
I've heard from Jeff that it's good. I've heard from a couple YouTubers I like that it's okay. I've heard from some people it's hot trash. I've heard from I'm just sitting here just like Jesus Christ. Like I actually don't know what kind of opinion I should if I should watch it or if I should watch it.
It's only 8 episodes.
I think I'm gonna watch it probably over this.
It's 8 episodes.
Yeah,
bro.
well, I'm gonna probably watch it over this week because it's reading week, so I've got downtime.
There you go.
That reminds me, I have to check and see when my schedule is because I don't know what it is now. So.
But yeah, no, I've sort of heard a couple of things about The Witcher and its development and that and the sort of stuff surrounding it. And I am of the opinion, and I think it's sort of a fairly universal opinion, even among people who like it or don't like it, that the best part of the show is Henry Cavill playing Geralt.
Yeah.
Or Geralt.
I agree.
Sorry, I had to enunciate that properly.
Geralt.
Which I love because apparently he's the only person on the creation of that who was like into Witcher because of the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe
I love the way he portrays the character.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably because you played the Witcher games,
Yep.
and you're coming at it from the same angle he was.
Yep.
Whereas the rest of the people on it were either book or just
And
were on it to be as like a job type deal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably looking at it like a job type deal, and he was one who probably didn't even think it like that.
From I'll be honest, I've never played my way through Witcher 3 or Witcher 1. I played them a little bit, but
I heard that's the
and
hardest
they
one to
came
get
out-
through, but at the same time, it's also pretty good.
Well, yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
Witcher 1 is like a weird Polish thing, and Witcher 3 is like a zillion-hour open-world RPG that came out when I didn't have a lot of free time, so I never really finished it. But I played a lot of Witcher 2, and I love that game.
I've heard a lot of good things about Witcher 3. I have it in my. I actually have the whole. I think I have all of the Witchers in my.
I've seen like YouTube
library.
clips that are just like, oh, that's super rad, but I don't feel like going through like 300 hours of gameplay to get to that point.
I have the Witcher 3 in my library, and I have to I should probably install it and play it, but I don't. I'm not about to drop 300 hours into the fucking game right now because
Exactly, it's the time investment that like wards me away from it.
Here's the thing.
Despite the fact that I dump shit tons of hours.
Oh yeah, no.
Warframe
That's
lately,
the same thing with me with World of Warships. Like I've dropped like hundreds and hundreds of hours. Like I'll play like 4 or 5 hours a day in World of Warships when I go on my binges. But the thing is Witcher is a game I think that if I had a guarantee a month free, and I wasn't gonna have to go to work, I didn't have to worry about bills, I didn't have to worry about any of that, I didn't have to worry about my workout regime, I would commit to. But I have other
I have
commitments
to
now.
exist in the real world.
I'm an adult. I have to exist. I can't just disappear. Back when Mass Effect 3 came out, like I dumped 3 straight days into that game and got it done.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, it's also because the reason why I took 3 days is because I got fucking pissed off at some things in the game.
Yeah, you get pissed off
Understandable.
easy.
Was it worth it?
I got the game done, and I didn't have the like bonus DLC or anything that helped explain the ending. I got to the end, I was just like,
You got the original band ending that everyone was mad about.
where it was all just different colors. I was just like, huh, all right, I should have just fucking destroyed everything.
Yeah,
It would have
just
made more
kill 'em
sense.
all, fuck
Yeah,
it.
no, that's what I should have done. Like the thing is like I finished the game. I chose the happy-go-lucky ending because I was like, fuck it. I have no commitment here. There's nothing like everything I choose is bad technically, and I did the good ending out of those, and I was like, that is the most hollow ending out of all of them. It is like it's because the way it is supposed like, oh yeah, the gates don't detonate, all that stuff, and then the gates still detonate. I was like, what the fuck? That was the reason why I chose that one.
I didn't. I pressed the don't do that button. Fuck off.
And I was so done. I was like, the thing is, I didn't go back to play the game. I haven't gotten any of the DLCs for any of the games either. So I don't know like all the extra content related to the games. I heard the DLC that relates to the space station that you tend to go to in Mass Effect 2. I don't remember what its name is.
The Mega 4 Relay.
Yes. No. Not the Omega 4
Yes.
Relay. Is it Mega 4?
It's not. It's the Mega 4 Relay.
Is it the station?
That's not what the station's called, but it's located right by the Mega 4
No,
Relay.
I'm talking about the station where you go recruit Garrick. Or Garrick, whatever his name is.
Garrus?
Yeah, thank you, Garrus.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
God.
I haven't played that game in forever.
I never even played those games at all.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
I am right.
I mean, a quick Google search will tell us.
Yeah, because he goes vigilante on that station. So I'm just like, yeah, it's actually one of my favorite stations. Garrick.
The
not
Mega
talking about
4
this-
Relay.
Not talking about the Citadel, are you?
No.
No.
Okay, I didn't think
The
so.
Mega 4 Relay is surrounded by hazardous.
It's Omega 3.
Yeah, it's that's the name of the station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not relay. It's Omega 3. I'm like, there's no, because a relay is the things that you guys jump through to get to different the different quadrants.
No, the reason why I'm calling it the Omega 4 Relay is because the way that the game works is basically it sits there and constantly is saying the Omega 4 Relay. It never once calls it. It's called Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah. They never call it. They never once refer to the station other than the Omega 4 Relay.
Either way. I didn't get the DLC where I could go back and retake that station. I didn't play the DLC where I got to see what the idea of the fucking Reavers came from. I didn't get the DLC related to in Mass Effect 2 where I took back where I kicked fucking that fucking monster out of fucking being the shadow broker and stuff like that. I'm like, there is so much content I've missed that I kind of want to go do now, but at the same time, I don't want to fucking commit hours to that game anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I commit enough time to paint. I commit enough time to painting. I commit enough time to fucking World of Warships. I commit enough time to fucking coming on this podcast at this point.
Yeah.
Rory commits enough time playing the fucking Warframe. He commits enough time.
Hey, I mean, one.
Am I wrong?
Good segue, but I mean, lately, yeah. Like I got back into Warframe in a big way because the Space Boat expansion came out.
Yep.
Which is apparently just kind of busted as fuck. I built my space boat. It was a pain in the ass because you have to do it in 6 segments that demand massive amounts of resources and a shit ton of money. I had to farm 6 million credits in the gladiatorial fucking money arena.
Oh.
Yeah, there's the best way to make money in that game is by playing sports ball. Except you have to kill people and then pick up their points. But for every point you pick up, you take like a debuff that makes you easier to kill. But the more points you have when you dunk them into the enemy net, the more bonus points you get.
And this is taking forever.
And then you just pick like Rhino because he can like give himself an armor thing that just ignores the debuffs. And then survive so you get the maximum amount of points.
No.
With a class name called Rhino, I would expect fucking being just like the fucking Imperial Fist of fucking everything.
I mean, kind of. I mean, I just tend to play the tankier frames in that game in general. We've gotten a bunch of people who are on our team speak into it, including Brendan, hipster Brendan.
Yeah.
To simplify that for Allan, who had not played it before. But yeah, I enjoy playing the tankier frames in that game. My favorite recently has been Nidus, because he has the most satisfying 1-2 ability combo since Scorch from Titanfall 2.
That's true.
In that, Scorch is my favorite. Scorch is the best. Oh man.
Scorch
Rip Titanfall.
is not as good as well, let me be honest.
Okay, hold on. First of all, Scorch is the best. Scorch is the best. And if you disagree, go fuck yourself.
I mean, I prefer fast moving things, so
okay, hold on. Name your favorite Titan. Tell me the name. Do you even know? Oh god, disgusting.
I need to sit down and play Titanfall 2 before I can give you a name.
Filthy North Star, man. Even if only for the main campaign, because the main campaign is like the best campaign I've played in a shooter in like years.
Yeah.
Like
the reason I will be honest, the reason I like North Star is because I like fighting things at ranged.
Yeah, you don't like being in danger, like a coward.
Yeah.
If there's a tanky class, I got a sneaky suspicion that's gonna be mine.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, of the Titans, the 2 heavyweights are Scorch and Legion.
Then I might like Legion. Then I got a sneaky suspicion if it's Isaac.
Legion has a big minigun, is very slow, and can put up a shield in front of himself.
Yep. Oh man, those sound like my qualities. Hey, Rory.
I mean, okay. To be fair, this is better than it could be, Jeff. You could have been like a Tone main.
Yeah.
Tone
also gets a shield.
Horrible.
Tone gets a shield that they put down. And they have an ability to lock onto targets and then fire a bunch of rockets that seek onto those targets. So you just play lame with behind your shield.
That sounds boring.
It is.
It is.
It is.
But Scorch is the best.
Scorch is
the
see
best.
The thing I don't like with Scorch is that like it felt like as if like you're playing it, you drop a thermite thing, and then you ignite it, and then you do massive damage. Whereas with North Star, at least like I had mobility.
Yeah, I mean you fly around.
Yeah, and I would die in like 2 hits, but at least 9 times out of 10, I'm taking somebody out with me.
Okay, but so here's the reason Scorch is the best. One, the for Allan, you haven't played it, so I'll sort of, and for the benefit of anyone who's not played it, who's listening to this, I'll sort of explain like what Scorch's abilities are. So each Titan has 4 abilities. Scorch's abilities are his first ability is he can like slam the ground with his fist, and he causes this like line of thermite to shoot out in front of him.
Yep.
Which is pretty fun. You can just like nail pilots who like touch the ground with it. It shoots out pretty fast.
Touch the ground, they die.
Yeah. His defensive ability is so like because there was a lot more coverage for Titanfall 1 when it came out. You know, like that ability where Titans like hold up their hand and they catch bullets in the air and then shoot them back. All right,
he has that.
Scorch
ability.
has that, except instead of like catching bullets and throwing them back, it's this big wall of fire that melts the bullets instead. And if you just ram into somebody while it's up, you just start damaging them with it. So it's like a come here, motherfucker, button. His third ability shoots out this canister that like sprays a bunch of like gas around, which doesn't do anything on its own. But if you hit it with your thermite, it ignites, causing like the same thermite to just sort of spread all over the ground where the gas was. And then his ult is like he just does a big slam and shoots out like this huge wave of fire in front of him. And you can combine his canister, thermite, and then like slam ability to do like this big combo that'll like one-shot pretty much every Titan in the game. So he's got like great burst DPS, but just like the combination of the canister, like doing trick shots with the canister and thermite, or even just with his thermite gun, is like one of the most satisfying things I've ever experienced in a shooter. Which is why I really like Nidus, because his abilities, it sort of works very similarly to Titanfall, where like each Warframe has 4 abilities. 2 of Nidus's first 2 abilities are this wave of called Virulence that just shoots like this biological infested wave along the ground out in front of him. That does more damage depending on how many Virulence stacks you have, which goes up for every enemy you hit with the wave. And then his second ability shoots out like this infested blob that fires out tentacles at like a bunch of surrounding enemies, and then just pulls them into a big ball. And then you hit the stomp button, and then you hit all of them with your wave of Virulence, and their bodies go flying everywhere. Like 1-2 combos like that in video games are just really fun to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like those things. I'm just entirely rambling about things I like at this point.
That's okay.
So feel free to cut me off at any point.
I mean, to be fair, you're allowed to do that. I just prefer different things. The charge shot made railgun very good.
Yeah, no, it's a cool gun. I'm just throwing shade because I like to fight people.
That's okay.
Now, I am going to say this.
I'm just throwing shade because I like to fight people, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, play
Titanfall 2. Like even just the campaign, Allan.
Oh no, I want to. I gotta buy it.
And the fucking the level, the best levels in any like shooter I've played. Like there's a level where you're going through a factory that constructs layouts. It's basically a factory that constructs layouts used for like testing combat effectiveness of certain things, of like weapons and stuff. So it's basically a factory that constructs Call of Duty levels, right? And like you're going through this level like as it's building like levels around you, and like you have to like some of them are like sideways as while they're being transported, so you have to like go through the level sideways. It's fucking fantastic. And then there's one where you have to go through this facility that was doing research on time travel tech, and you get a device that lets you bamf forward and backwards in time. You're in the same place, but you're jumping forwards and backwards between 2 sets of time, one before the facility was destroyed and one after.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking awesome, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, however. We have to talk about something else.
Okay.
Well, we have to talk about Ethot's getting angry.
Oh, god damn it. Fuck, god damn it.
Oh, is this that Count Dankula thing?
Yes, this is the Count Dankula thing.
I mean, I feel like we could just tell people to watch the Count Dankula video.
Just watch the Count Dankula video.
I don't really have much to say on that, but for people who don't want to watch the Count Dankula video,
in all honesty, by the way, all this is hoes be mad because they fucked up and failed. By the way, Count Dankula made some really good points. And it's like, yeah, they're just wearing a motion capture suit. This isn't an AI. This is like an actual person doing this.
Yeah.
Whoever thought this was an AI is stupid.
Yeah, and the fact that it was like, no, and the thing is, we assume, they all assume it's just going to be on all the time, and it's like, no, like, because this person isn't, like, being an asshole. She's actually just sitting down, talking with the people, actually having fun. And I'm just like, wow. It's almost like ethos don't know how to be a fucking, reasonable human being. But what's new about that?
Nothing's new about that. Yeah, other than that, I got, nothing really to talk about. I got nothing. Rory, do you have any D&D updates?
I mean, not really. We've missed a bunch of sessions of the campaign, including today, which is why I'm on now, because normally I wouldn't be available on Saturdays. Actually, you know what? It's been a while since I was on. Yeah, I do. I think the last time I talked about the evil campaign I was running, they were in the veil of all, the good-aligned deity, the veil of the good-aligned deity.
Yeah.
Killing everyone. All right, so they did that. And then they spent some time after they... basically they killed everyone there, including the angel who was in charge of everything. The anti-paladin got to have his very protracted revenge against everyone he ever knew. And murder them all.
Good job.
So he had a good time, and then they had to escape because the king's army showed up.
That makes sense.
In the middle of winter, which they were not expecting, because the veil is supposedly cut off from the outside world by freeze. But then they escaped, leaving their bugbear horde to die in their stead, like real villains. They putzed around in a city that the main bugbear host is occupying, and you get to they got to take part in sort of just the sacking of the city and getting loot and stuff, which is fun. That's sort of their downtime. And then after that, they got assigned to their new mission is to kill the king, and since attacking him in the middle of his army's camp is complete, it would obviously be suicide. Their plan is to draw him back by threatening his only daughter. But they can't just attack the palace where she's staying, because it needs to be a real big threat for the king to hear about it immediately and come back. And so what they want to do, what they've been assigned to do, is get this really old, really evil dragon to threaten the palace. And then while that's going on, they're supposed to sneak in and kill the king when he teleports back. But because they know that this dragon is really evil and just kills everyone who enters his lair, they decide they need to sort of curry his favor a bit. So they have to save his only trueborn dragon son from this sentient storm controlling super eagle and his army of giant eagles, which they do. Then get escorted back to the dragon's island home. They have a meeting with him, which was one of the funnest things I've got to roleplay in a while, because this dragon will kick their ass. He is absolutely just fucking huge. You cannot fight this guy. He's a great worm black dragon. He's CR go fuck yourself. And it's the entire social encounter is, y'all better learn to suck up to this guy or he's going to breathe acid on you. Which he did. And it almost wiped out several of them. But they survived and managed to come up with a satisfactory arrangement, which is he'll help them if they kill his rival, which involves them going to who is another dragon, who is this another old ass dragon.
Rory,
what?
to ask: Is this is the evil campaign, correct?
Yes, this is the evil campaign.
Okay, the king has to teleport back so the guys can kill him. And there's
Yeah,
the king
they know that the king has like an
and a king has a daughter, right?
yes.
Is the daughter a silver dragon?
No. You've been told about this. You've been told about this campaign before, my Mike. I remember you talking about that. No. Okay. So here's. Okay. So.
No.
No one in my game listens to this podcast, so it's fine. But no, she's a silver half dragon.
Okay.
This
yes.
is unknown to the players and literally everyone in the world.
All right.
But the daughter of the king during one of his forays to the north had a bit of a
good night.
a bit of a fling with this incredibly powerful silver dragon, which has also had the side effect of making the princess an incredibly powerful sorcerer. They don't know this, of course, but it's going to come up later in the campaign. Right now, they're just trying to threaten her so that the king comes back so that they can kill him.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just wanted to double check because I was like, I think I know this story because I remember there being a story about somebody just planar shifting with a rival to another dimension. And
yeah. But yeah, no, like they have to go to this the home of this copper dragon who and in order to assassinate him. This copper dragon being famed for his interplanar adventures and the fact that he's a bit of a slut and has a bunch of mistresses who are all various outsiders or like powerful like magical creatures in their own right, just sort of hanging out on his island. And like ideally you can sort of scout out and talk your way in and assassinate his consorts one by one, so you only have to fight him on his own, because he's a pretty tough fight in his own right. Unfortunately, they beelined it right for his room, so they're going to have to fight him and all his consorts at once.
So, party wipe?
I mean, maybe. The party's really buck right now. The Anti-Paladin's a Grave Knight, which makes him very hard to kill. The Vigilante's a vampire, which makes her very hard to kill. The Summoner's Eidolon has had ridiculous stats since, well, a while. The Summoner's Eidolon is huge size and has over over 40 AC, but so yeah, like the players are all very powerful by design. Like the campaign sort of starts you off at like a higher point buy and gives you a couple of extra things in the beginning, like extra skill points and stuff, because you're sort of supposed to be independent and proactive. And yes, they're all quite powerful now that they're all level 13. No, they're 14 now. So yeah, they're very powerful player characters. This should not be understated. I don't think they're going to completely party wipe. I think that's exceptionally unlikely, especially given the fact that 3 of them have basically contingencies that mean they can't really be killed. The vampire's fine as long as even if she gets killed, she can get back to her coffin. The Grave Knight regenerates his body from his armor, from his suit of armor, as long as it's not destroyed. And the Druid is an archetype called Reincarnation Druid, where if he dies, he reincarnates within 1 mile.
Oh, that makes sense.
He won't have any of his stuff, and he still gets like 2 negative levels. But yeah, there is that's not just like a ubiquitous power that has no negatives. By the by, if he dies twice within a week, he doesn't get to reincarnate again. But yeah, like several of them have contingencies and backups in mind. The Summoner's got a bunch of teleportation magic at the ready and generally hides behind her Eidolon. And the Alchemist is just... I mean, the Alchemist dies a bunch, but that's because it's Zip.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that Zip? And
yes,
then of course Stefan is just...
No, Stefan's the Druid.
Oh, well,
he has also
that's
died
right.
many times. And he has also died
built
many
around
times,
that.
sometimes on purpose, because he didn't like what race... Because Reincarnate is basically sort of a budget form of resurrection. Because like there's magic to bring your characters back to life once you get to a high enough level, right? Like Raise Dead, Resurrection, all that jazz. One of the low-level Druid version is called Reincarnate. And it's kind of better than like Raise Dead because it's cheaper. And it always brings you back as a young person, so you get better physical stats if you were old or something. But you roll randomly on your race because you're reincarnating into a completely new body and gender.
I can believe that.
So their druid
So
has
the
been
toddler's like running around like a little.
no. Like when I say young, I mean like the young, like not young, because like you can be multiple different ages in 3.5 Pathfinder, and like the older you go, like the more your stats change, like the higher your mental stats get, and the lower your physical stats get. You can be young, middle-aged, old, and venerable. And each age category you go up gives you another +1 to all your mental stats, and like a bigger drop to your physical stats per category you go up.
Okay.
Which is actually given Stefan a bunch of extra points because he decided to play a old character who was on the verge of venerable, and then as soon as he got the ability to reincarnate, he threw himself off of a tower they were in to kill himself so that
Why?
he could reincarnate into a younger body.
That seems like something Stefan would do.
It was. I mean, to be fair, we planned this out well ahead of time. Like, I knew he was going to do this. The rest of the party did not, which made for a really great moment where he called the anti-paladin up to the top of the tower, sort of like, here, you take care of the ritual for a day or two. Are you going somewhere? I've been thinking. I've been getting older, and as he's saying this, he's walking towards the edge of the tower. He's like, it's like, I'm just not sure this body has what it takes anymore to complete our mission. So goodbye. And then he just jumped off the top of the tower. No context. He had hidden his archetype from the rest of the party up until that point. It was hilarious because their immediate reaction was just, what? And then he got to come back after a day. But yeah, no, it's been hilarious. Stefan's died multiple times. He started out as a tiefling. He came back as an orc, then a gnome, then a halfling. Then I think he's currently a lizard man. Yeah, no, he's a lizard man. He hasn't died since the lizard man. It was really funny when he got. Stefan's had some raw ass deaths.
Just bye guys, I'm gonna kill myself now.
His most recent one was when they were assaulting the Vale for the first time. They had to fight the captain of like this group of archers who has an oath bow, which is like, it's a pretty standard magic bow, except it has the ability to once a day, like you pick a target, declare vengeance against them, and the bow gets way stronger against them, but loses its magical properties against anyone else. And he, after Stefan, through the use of Fire Snake spell, wiped out his entire unit, he said, all right, I'm declaring vengeance against this man, and then immediately got a crit, killed him in one shot, and then died to the rest of the party. So yeah, there's been some shenanigans in that game.
Jeez, man.
That's nice.
But yeah, it's been pretty fun. We've just missed a couple sessions lately because a bunch of people have like family stuff going on.
That makes sense. Family stuff is stupid.
Not all the time. Some of it's like positive family stuff that probably should have happened a while ago. Not in my case, but in like, I'm not going to go into details.
Kids
we've also had like
stuff like that.
We've also had updates in the game that me and Allan are in together, which is a bit slower. It's only every
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Skulls and Shackles. Or actually, as I've learned recently, it's only Skull and Shackles, not Skulls and Shackles.
That sounds a lot less interesting then.
Well, it's because I assume it's because the flag of the Shackles area is a picture of a skull and then two shackles. But I thought for years that it was Skulls and Shackles. Anyway, we did have some interesting stuff happen in that. We executed a mutiny, as Allan can attest. He got to chop a dude's hands off.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yes. Stealing a ship is. And I was like, excellent. My axe thirsts. And I took off his head. And then we were like, okay, so there's a thing called keel hauling. And Rory, do you want to explain what keel hauling is?
Keel hauling is when you tie a dude to the front of your ship and then throw them over the front and then just sort of drag them along the prow of your ship as you go through the water.
Now, the ship we mutiny on is a very slow, heavy ship. It's a freighter. It's not like
it's something we rob because like the adventure pass starts out with us being press ganged into service of this pirate crew, right? Where if for those who don't know, press ganging is when
You are forced.
hey, man, I need more crew members. I'm going to kidnap some people. They wake up on my ship, and then if they don't serve, we kill them.
Yeah, press ganging is something that is a time-old honor tradition amongst all military fashions up until pretty much the musket and pike era. After that, it becomes professional. That's beside the point. Fun fact: because we're on this slow ship, and the guy who mutinied against that we mutinied against is still alive, we were like, well, yeah, we're gonna fucking keelhaul him, and it's a slow. He drowns before he dies by being just beaten into the ship. Normally you die by being beaten into the ship by like just one hit, you're dead. But because we're going so goddamn slow.
For context, we're not complete sociopaths. This guy was an asshole. Most of the first like huge
We're only
section of
partial
this.
sociopaths.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I say chaotic neutral is the term you're looking for, Jeff. Because he's basically the motivator on the pirate ship you're initially on. He's the first mate of the captain, and he's like the disciplinarian. If you break any rules, he's the one who whips you. He's also the one who decides your jobs, and he basically makes it his mission to fuck with you for like the 3 weeks you have to do like chores on the ship when you're first press ganged into service. It's fucking awful. Dude's an asshole. And he has a bunch of like crew members who are like on his side who rat you out if you do anything and they see you. And it's you're like competing over very small amounts of resources tooth and nail with whatever you can scrape together. It was an interesting thing. It got really aggravating by the end though. And then like once your ship captures this other ship, the captain, who's this like stone cold badass who like is telegraphed to you as a badass when he walks out of like the ship that you're taking over with the other captain's heart in his hands, he declares that a bunch of your crew are to take the ship that you guys just captured and like sell it and then bring the profits back to him. And he assigns his first mate to be the captain on that ship, the guy who's been a dick to you the whole time. So what we immediately do as soon as we're out of sight of the other ship is mutiny, which we pulled off excellently, I wish to point out. Mostly because we had made friends with so many of the people on the ship.
And yeah, the mutiny went over.
It was a good time.
Surprisingly well, like to the point where we were like, "How did we do this so easy?" Like it was way
It's because
easier.
I had a plan. It's because I'm the fucking captain. Yes, I am enjoying being a captain in that game.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I expect my character to be good at like piloting ships and giving orders. So I was gonna be the captain, but Allan is my reliable muscle
As of right now.
as of right now. I mean, well, are you?
No, give him my roles for the past 2 sessions. I'm actually worried that.
Oh my God, Allan has been like paranoid that his character is going to die for like the past several sessions. But like Allan, here's the thing you got to realize: Zip's still alive.
Yes, but Zip also hasn't been there for most of the sessions that we've had like troubles.
He's missed like 2, and
Yes.
he had to make checks to make up for those.
He's missed the one that was like this past one, which I guarantee he would have gone overboard and fucking just got smashed to the rocks.
Possibly, quite possibly.
If he's still alive when we start next session, I'm gonna be mad.
Of course, he's still alive. When we start, we're like, he's not going to get killed off screen. That's like scum. That's a scummy tactic that you don't do to a player.
No, like if he makes the rolls, like if he does the rolls and stuff like that and still dies.
What, to get across the lake we're at? No, he'll be fine. We've got a rope. Honestly, I'm more concerned. He's got a higher acrobatics than me. We left off like trying to get across this patch of quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there. I think that's enough tabletop talk.
Okay.
What else? What else have we got to chat about? Podcast is already an hour, or at least I've been recording for an hour.
I've been
Yeah,
recording
well.
for
Putz about a bit before we really got started.
Well, I played more Pokemon. I played more Breath of the Wild. I'm almost done Breath of the Wild, so... And Sonic is the best video game movie ever released.
Gross.
Yeah.
I heard it was okay.
I heard it. I heard it was
I heard
good.
Jim Carrey carries it.
I've heard, like, it's so weird.
So, it's a weird thing. But other than that, nothing much.
I mean, okay, how does it compare to, like, the Prince of Persia movie?
Apparently, in its rating, it's better than Prince of Persia. Like, they're over 50. Like, they're above 50% across the board.
I don't know. Well, people shout all over Prince of Persia, but Prince of Persia was okay.
Prince of Persia
Like, it wasn't
okay.
great, but it was okay.
The problem was Prince of Persia tried to do all 3 games all at once.
Yeah.
Needed to be a trilogy, you see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's a podcast.
I'm just like we're chatting about how Josh isn't coming on, and then I see that he's in one of the Discords and has just posted
Welcome to the Gum Zone.
Five and
zone. Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking god damn it! Yeah, I saw that earlier. I was like,
So that's how we're going to end this week's show, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
are we done? We're not going to talk
Yeah,
about anything else?
we're gonna finish it.
I mean,
we're
we
not
didn't
talking-
come in here with any topics, and we managed to talk for an hour. So hey, that ain't
Yeah.
bad. Unless
Yeah.
Allan, what do you got to talk about? How have the communists blighted you this week?
How have they?
Jeff, did you see the argument? Oh no, you aren't on Twitter anymore. I got an argument, and I got called a fascist yet again.
Oh, you know what? It's funny because those people are actual fucking fascists. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say anything. You know what? Because you know what? We're not fucking retarded and stupid and moronic buffoons.
Jeff.
It's almost as if the actual fascists are actually the fucking people calling everyone
Allan.
fascist. I'm just saying.
I dropped communism because I know it triggers Allan, and I got Jeff.
Yes, it triggers me when I'm in isolation with you. When I'm around other people,
When there's other people, you can't allow it to trigger you.
I have to remain
They
stoic.
could be secret. They could be secret communist agents looking for your weakness.
Actually, having been around a communist, yes, that what actually does. No, you want to know how this argument was? We were discussing the design studio that got shut down as a result of Sonic's like redesign, them working long hours, stuff like that. And people are like, people shouldn't have to work overtime. And I'm just like sitting there as a road construction worker, and I'm like, you're not going to get any of your fucking roads done. Shut the fuck up. And then one guy makes comments like, well, did they volunteer? Did they get compensated? And they were like, well, it's still wrong for people to have to work long hours. It prevents them from prevents them from spending time with their families. And it's like, yes, but at the same time, they're making extra money so that when they get time to spend with their family, they have more money to do so. And like we went into this long conversation, and I brought up the topic because we brought up the idea of like
the real problem is overpopulation. We just have to start killing people. Then there will be more money to go around.
Stop that.
Okay, are you sticky fingers?
Disavow. If Rory's sticky fingers, I would be very surprised.
What, that guy in your Discord?
Yeah.
Or the JoJo stand that he's named after?
I think he's changed his name and profile pictures from sticky fingers though.
It was he was for a long time called Dildo of Justice.
But here's the thing: I brought up a topic I brought up the topic that I was studying history. And he was like, the fascists killed 6 million people, and me and the guy who were arguing with him turned around, and snapped at him, and like 100 million in China and Russia. Go fuck yourself. And we were done at that point and here's the thing: it's like, well, like fascism. And I brought the and here's the thing: it was like he was like, oh, fascism. And I was just like, fascism is naturally an inclusive idea where.
I did trigger Allan. He's going off.
No, because
Look at him.
No. This is
Look
you
at him
triggered
go.
me. This person triggered me.
Yeah, but I reminded you of it. Thus, my work is complete. Allan, ultimately, I said a thing, and now you are triggered.
No.
I don't care what the source is. I don't care where the link comes through. The point is, I have done it. I have got you to go off on a rant about fascism and communism. That was my goal. That's my only goal, Alan.
Explaining where I got called fascist at. I'm not triggered yet.
See, I'm just,
Explaining ranting, what's the difference, really?
see, I'm just sitting here and I'm just happy that I'm not the only one who gets into arguments on
This is
Twitter.
the thing. This is the first argument I've been in on Twitter ever.
Jeff, if you were ever under the impression that you are the only one who gets into arguments on Twitter, you just might be a little bit retarded.
You might be a little absolutely retarded.
Even for a fraction of a picosecond, you were under the impression that, am I the only one who fights over Twitter?
The
You
answer
might
is,
have been like just
the answer is
thrown
no.
into the ground as a child at a high speed.
Holy shit. No, but yeah.
No, I was never under that impression, Rory. but
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
This is the first argument I've ever actually been on Twitter before. So like, and I wouldn't even really call it an argument. I wouldn't really call it an argument. We literally brought facts to this person, and he kept fucking being like, "Oh no, it's not that." I just finally, me and the other guy started talking to each other because it's a YouTuber I follow named Short Fat Otaku, and I brought up the topic of like it's the reason like I brought up the topic and like he was like I'm center left and I'm like yeah I'm center right. I believe in like responsible government that's small as possible that isn't going to affect your rights, but I also don't believe in universal suffrage. And he's like, oh, so you believe in Heinlein? He's like, yes, service guarantees citizenship. And I immediately get called a fascist for that. I was like, what? My head almost exploded in anger. And here's the thing, I was at the gym when this happened, so I was on the treadmill, fucking pounding out that 15K, being awesome. I hear a ping on my phone because I'm listening to music through my phone because we have Wi-Fi. So I look down at my phone, flick down the thing so I could see what the message is, scroll down to the message, and I read what it is, and I almost fucking got off the treadmill to fucking shout. I was just, and then he like responded like 4 times, and I'm reading this message, and it's just like, holy shit. And I was like, no, I'm not going to respond to this because I'm done. I'm so mad that if I say something, I might lose my career over this. And then Devin, Short Fat Otaku, immediately came in and was like, no, because fascism actually requires you to serve the state in any shape or form. They have outgroups like every government in the world. Unfortunately, fascism, which is by the way socialism, and he brought that up just to fucking needle the person. And I was just like, I'm just sitting there like, balance has been restored. And then I went back to my run. And then he stopped talking to us, and we were just like, "Oh, cool, sweet," and we fucking went our way.
There you go.
Good job.
My anger was being called a fascist by some communist dipshit.
I mean, to be fair, most communist dipshits are idiots. So.
Oh no! What makes it even funnier is earlier this week, I was hanging out with Christina. And I'm just shooting her the shit, talking with her while she's at Warp. And I bring up one of the guy brings up AOC, and I'm leaning on the counter, so like I'm like the communist dipshit, and they're like, she's not a communist, and I'm like, that's the thing that you have a contention with, the fact that I call her a dipshit doesn't like catch you. and then I corrected myself. I was like, all right, yeah, that's right, she's a half step over, she's a socialist. And like Christina looked at me like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm correcting my terminology.
You're looking for a fight.
And
Alan wanted an argument.
The thing is I'm studying political theory now, so I know what AOC is. I know what she is. It's kind of scary what she is. She's like the predecessor to bad things happening.
That's a good way of saying it. Anyways, we have to end the show.
I'm glad that I extended it. I was joking about making the podcast longer by dropping the word communism in Allan, and it works.
No, the thing is
My work here is done.
The thing is, it wasn't
That
me
was a
who-
solid 10 minutes, Allan.
You're welcome. No, it makes me the first 5 minutes was Jeff, the second half was me.
Well, that's accurate.
All right. Thank you for listening to Black. Go.
To be fair, this entire day I've been hoping to like go off on like trying to be a little Carlin.
I mean, like my
You've been
buddy.
on a real Carlin kick lately.
I like
That's
Carlin.
good. That's good.
I-
I love George Carlin.
George Carlin, the man, rest in peace. The good man needs to be remembered for all the good things. I almost
Rest in peace, funny grumpy grandpa.
I almost got banned from a server for posting George Carlin.
How? He's great.
Because how dare I post something that's true?
I guess. No.
Yeah.
Hey, Rory.
What?
Do you think that sequel trilogy's good?
I have not. I've still not seen
Episode 9?
I've still not seen the last. I haven't seen it yet.
No. Just with the two that you've seen so far. Let's go with that. Of the two, do you think they're good?
I think the first one was decent, and then the second one is trash. So.
All right. Do you think they surpass the original trilogy?
No.
I have a friend who thinks the sequel trilogy surpasses and is leagues above fucking.
Who?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you over the chat.
Allan. Who?
I'm not going to tell you over
Allan.
chat. We're going to finish the podcast.
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna stop
I guess
recording.
you don't want to tell it while we're recording. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
You're like, I almost triggered you. You were like starting to focus in, dude. That's why I was like, no, I need to stop that.
Well, I thought you were going to let them get away with this.
Oh no. Well, I'm not starting the argument with them. I'm not starting the argument with them because me and him, and the moment I mention what he does, you'll be like, I know.
I need to see the last one before I can really.
It's.
I have heard things.
Have you heard Mahler's review on it?
No.
Oh my boy.
I want to watch it first.
My boy.
But I don't know anyone who actually wants to go to, who's like burning with a desire to go see it.
I don't want to. I
eh.
saw it with my dad basically 2 nights after it came out, and it's a movie. That's the best way to describe it at
Is
its
it still in
best.
theaters even?
Yes, I think it's still in theaters.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Black Mind Games podcast, episode
I think you can sit and watch it with you, buddy.
237.
Well, once I've seen it, me and Allan will do an
rage cast.
episode 9 bitch cast.
Yep. All right.
Bitch cast. The big bitch.
All right.
cast.
Anyways, thank you. Thank you for listening to Black Mind Podcast. Jeff, keep taking us out. We're sorry.
Thank you for listening to the Black Mind Games podcast, episode 237. You can listen to us every Thursday at blackmindgames.podbean.com. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube and your favorite podcasting app of choice. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Okay.
All right, I'm recording.
I missed your awesomeness emanating from the show.
Okay, then you don't have to be sarcastic.
Well, I was being serious.
I mean, I don't think it could escape the black void that is this show's, taint upon the world. It is a curse, a blight upon this land.
That's true.
One that we must await the chosen one to remove.
Are we gonna have to Dark Souls this bitch?
Eventually, it's going to be done on live and in person.
But live and in person.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
That means I have to smell you guys.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll put
It's
in
been
the
a while.
picture
I've got a lot of
It has
vials
been.
set up. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of just down to scheduling, because like you guys only record on like Saturday or Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And every
unfortunately,
Saturday, typically, I run a game, and every second Friday,
Yep.
I'm in a game. So
It's just the reason why we don't normally ask you.
yeah, understandable.
But since I saw that, since I knew that you guys had canceled your game tonight, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go ask. Let's ask Rory.
Yeah, no. I got canceled, and then we were going to do a one shot, and then that got canceled. So now,
the moment I knew that the first one got canceled, like they'll run a one shot. The moment I saw, I've got to go do stuff with Stefan, and I was just like,
Stefan like canceling out at the last minute. By the way, he's on now.
yeah, he's on now. I just saw that in the
so
chat.
he's
I was
a
just,
bitch. He was on like at 8. Usually we start at 7, so and like go late. So
whatever. He might
just
not,
a bitch.
He might not have known what time he was going to get home at though. So rather than
he's
like,
just a bitch.
whatever. All right.
No quarter.
Wait, Jeff, are you having that audio problem again?
Yeah, let me fix it. I don't know what the fuck's wrong. I fucking hate Discord.
Oh boy.
How funny is it that I'm the one who's having issues?
I don't know. Pretty funny. And he go. All right.
Pretty funny, actually.
How funny.
Is Josh going to be on
pretty
this?
funny that I'm having audio issues. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is
pretty.
Josh on this podcast, or
If
he's running like this?
We're gonna probably run like this because unless I don't know when Josh is gonna get on. So
Yeah.
if Josh shows up, Josh shows up. If Josh doesn't show up, Josh doesn't show up. End of problem. End of conversation.
We assume he is in his Coomer cave.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's his birthday, so he might not want to play tonight. So or
Yeah,
record. tonight.
that's understandable. I wouldn't want to do this podcast on my birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, like, because I'd be getting wasted on my birthday.
That's a good point.
Josh doesn't get wasted though.
Josh just plays Magic.
That's what he's playing right now. We'll boop him again in a bit. All right. Shall we sync and shall we go?
Mm-hmm.
We shall sink and all that jazz.
Yep.
Shink.
Sync in 3, 2, 1.